This is the vision for going forward. This does not have much to do with a strategy. A vision without a strategy is a setup for failure. And so there needs to be a strategy developed. And there needs to be strong, capable leadership to see that strategy come to pass. And if not, there's a vacuum. And when there's a vacuum, always something bad enters the vacuum that causes confusion and gets people's minds off of the real purpose and the strategy. And by the way, I want to say this before I read this report. I've just enjoyed myself with the folks working with you people these last couple of days. It's been great. I love it. By the way, I even love the drive. What a beautiful drive coming down around those twisty roads. And the roads are good, so much better than in New Brunswick, and for the most part. And so, except for that gravel road that I went up there to their place on, I just love to insult people. You understand what you see? Anyway, so the strengths. Widespread agreement on the need for change that is necessary to go forward. And truly, I think everybody that I interviewed said it is going to be do or die. Won't be a quick death, it'll be a slow death, but we don't have to die. We can do it. And every one of us has got the capabilities to do what needs to be done. Strength, friendly, and welcome. Acceptance, I've sensed that for sure. People who are faithful and committed. Maybe not everybody, but enough who are, that there's a nucleus that can make it happen. Openness to change. That was expressed. By the way, I need to say this to you. These findings, for the most part, came from the interviews. And then a dynamic alpha ministry, which is so great to hear the number of people who come to know Christ through that. So here are some of the concerns. By the way, we can share these. Maybe if somebody doesn't have one, share it with somebody. You can share a little bit of that maybe. Here are the concerns. A clear cause, purpose, and mission statement that will eliminate any and all personal and selfish agendas on the part of all who fly into it. Number two, music that better relates to the people who need to be reached in the community. By the way, let me just say this as a principle that I taught yesterday, just to reiterate. The church is not for the people in the church. The church is for the purpose of reaching the people who are outside the church. That's what we need to always keep in mind. Because Jesus said, I will build my church. Now hear this, please. I will build my church and the gates of hell will not prevail against it. In other words, the church's purpose is to invade the gates of hell. It's to gain territory out there that needs to be gained for the Lord. Number three, lack of a joyful, upbeat, happy to be here atmosphere that generates excitement about coming to church. Number four, more attendees involved in helping. That's a need. Number five, decline, lack of attendance, and outreach. These are concerns you've all expressed. Number six, leadership that will be an example to others of all that needs to take place in order to accomplish what the church has been called to be and to do. Leadership is a number one factor in any situation going forward. Number seven, that the church be a place of total acceptance regardless of lifestyle, so that everyone can feel they belong. Everybody, no matter who, they can feel like they belong. And then as a result, they will believe and become what the Bible expects us to be. And then here are the prescriptions. A clear, memorable purpose statement that is in harmony with the purpose of Jesus dying on the cross, that can be owned by provided here, the people. Number 2, major changes in music style will be necessary in order to speak the language of the people who need to be reached and engaged. So let me just say about that. It's not something that happens overnight. It's something that is a process. And it is something that takes time to develop. Number 3, it will be important to determine the major need in the community that is now being neglected. And when I say neglected, there may be other churches that are not meeting that need, and make the necessary connections by developing a culture of inviting. Now, I should say this. You know, I think there's people here who just love to do everything that should be done immediately. And we can't do that. We can't do everything. We've got to find out what is most important and start there. And then, as time goes on, there will be other things as we strengthen that we will be able to do that will help things go forward. Number 5, two major community bridge building events a year that need to be planned with the goal of doubling the attendance on those days. Now, this is not like an anniversary thing or something like that. This is an outreach event to reach out to people, ideally, who've never gone to 10 church. Everyone in the congregation is involved in inviting unchurched people to these events. Now, we're not going to talk about this here today, but there needs to be a strategy, there needs to be a plan, there needs to be a program that can help that to happen. Number 6, bridge building missional events that reach into the community, which will enhance the testimony of the church in the community. There was a church that I did a consultation that's smaller than this church. And they live in a fishing community. And when it came time for all the fishermen at a particular time to go at the beginning of the season, they would converge on the wharf and provide pies or something like that for all the fishermen. Well, that didn't cost that much. Then they would provide ice cream and social for the children at the closing of school or sometime during the church year. And that gave the church a positive reputation in the community. And that's kind of what we mean by missional events. And it doesn't have to cost hardly any money at all. There may be some things that could. Our church had for years, we call it Love My City. And we try to do all kinds of things to show love to our city. And we raise money. I just say this as an advertisement. You don't need to do this. I'm just using an example. The church raised $108,000 last Christmas to give to institution in the city. Had them there. The mayor was there. But all that stuff just helps the testimony of the church. Number 7. Now this one here is probably going to cause all kinds of questions, and I'll explain what I think needs to happen here in a minute. Number 7, a mentoring relationship be arranged with a progressive, growing, dynamic church for the purpose of assistance in human resources that will help develop, promote, and execute outreach effectiveness. Now that is not going to take one thing away from the autonomy of the local church, the independence of the local church, is to help ideas and give assistance so that the local church can become all that it wants to become. And that would have to be unpacked. Now here's what I'm going to say to you, that it's not going to be up to you. But
I think you missed number 4.
what did I miss number 4? Oh, sorry about that. Alexander. Got it right that time, didn't I? It will be critical to develop a welcoming, joyful, enthusiastic atmosphere by celebrating any and all positive developments. You know, I would say what creates an excitement about being in a place is every little thing that is positive that can be celebrated and shared with the people, encouraging the people, helps the atmosphere of the place and causes people to want to be a part of it. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, a strategy, or no, a vision, and a vision and goals without a strategy is a setup for failure. And let me just say this, it takes leadership to help see a strategy develop. And if that leadership is not there, things will be worse because they get left, people get excited, and then everything kind of goes south and nothing happens. And that doesn't need to be. And so the ideal thing from my perspective, and if you all say, look, we don't want to ever see you again, I'll just smile and keep on trucking. But the ideal would be for me to come back here and flesh these things out and help us to discuss a strategy going forward so that all these prescriptions can be carried out. And so that will be up to you sometime to determine, decide on that. And if I don't hear from you, I'll still smile. So, but I just want to be helpful. You know, I just want to be helpful. That's the reason I'm saying this. Not because I want to necessarily be here from a personal perspective. I'm just willing to do whatever needs to be done. My calling is so extreme that I just want to help wherever there might be a possibility of helping. What's going to happen now? You singing a song or something?